So, man, here's the thing. Somebody recently asked us, why do you fucking collect shit? Actually, several people have asked us, why do you collect stuff? What's the purpose of it? I know Michael Keller is confused by the idea of grown men collecting figures and trinkets and then, just pop culture junk and shit like that. And several other people have asked us to speak about our collecting, the nuances, what the fuck. Some people want to know.
Yeah.
Some collectors want to know. I think it's different for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it happens to be interesting. We recorded a previous video on it, but I think it's worth just talking about the subject again because it just so happens that at the moment somebody asked this, or several people asked this, I should say, you happen to be, by your own admission here recently, at a fucking crossroads with your collecting.
Yeah, dude. Like the other day, I was talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of mentioning it, right? And I for a couple minutes, I considered just getting rid of everything. And I was like I said, it felt pointless.
What was that? What made you consider this feels like I'm doing this for nothing, or was there another factor?
Well, I think it's I've been going to some other more serious shit that maybe we shouldn't really get into.
Right.
But I feel like that was kind of a. Like a big thing. It's like the thing that I'm most actively doing.
Right.
Collecting crap, buying crap.
Right.
And so that was kind of like, damn, homie, this is...
Well, look.
As something that I can identify that might be problematic.
I'm going to tell you this. It could be problematic and it could also not be problematic. It just depends on how you view it. So hopefully this will help. Because I've been through every, up and down in the collecting... roller coaster ride that it is. Okay, I've been collecting arguably since I was a young kid, because even as a kid I took care of my shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when I was younger I prized material stuff more than I should have. That's true. I think that's true of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But as a kid I admired these little things. They were cool. They were a representation of something to me, right? And also they fed my imagination a lot. I will say that when I played with them and stuff like that. However, of course, as a kid, I didn't buy the stuff. I just got to kind of pick it, and occasionally, I'd get some of it. We were pretty poor, so I didn't get all of it, but what I did have, I prized. So I think that the moment I got money in my hand, one of the things was, I'm going to collect for myself. I'm going to buy the things that I want when I can and when I want them. I will say this, for a large portion of that early, from my teens to about the year 2009, some of my collection got out of control, man. There was moments where it was fine, but there was moments where it was like, what the fuck? I was wasting too much money. I paid a black card off 3 times, and the third time I had to go into bankruptcy to pay it off. I paid it.
Thankfully, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, I paid it. But that's not good. That's out of control, And I feel that the moment it got out of control was when I was just buying stuff to buy stuff, rather than because I wanted to curate something that was special to me or had meaning to me. And that's a line that can get blurred out of nowhere. However, before you even get there, I think collecting, whatever it is you might collect, it's just kind of like some people watch sports. Some people, I don't know, fucking get drunk. Some people, whatever. Everybody has some sort of, if you want to call it addiction, then that's what it is. For collectors, it's collecting. And an addiction can be destructive, or it could be a pastime.
I feel like what I've been kind of feeling lately is that there isn't really a satisfaction with acquiring something.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if it's due to ease. Not really, because there's actually been some stuff that's been kind of hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is.
Is it like once you get it, you're still not satisfied, or you want more, or you just got it and you're like, well, that's it?
Yeah, it's basically that. I feel like there's this desire to get something. Like, for example, the Batman Who Laughs recently. It's like, damn, I need to get that shit, right?
Right.
And I finally get it, and it's cool, and I enjoy it, and I like that I have it, but it's just kind of there.
Right.
You know, and it, like in my mind, I'm like, damn, it's just kind of there. Like,
Okay. Well, look, this is what I can offer to that. There was a point, I know you were there too, as are most collectors. Um, there's a point where we get to a stage in our life where our interaction with toys changes dramatically.
yeah,
And it's a very sad point.
it really is.
Because as a child, you can play with these things, and your imagination has no bounds, it has no way to criticize the stupidity you're coming up with.
Yeah,
As you age, you become increasingly more critical of what you're doing. So playing with stuff just doesn't gel anymore. It feels stupid. It feels like you're not doing. You're not respecting the fucking characters that exist. You know, it just feels dumb. You know what I'm saying? I remember the day that I stopped being able to play with my figures, and I was like, it was like I lost something. Like, what the fuck? Like, I remember going and locking myself in a room and trying to do it, and just not being able to do it. I was like heartbroken.
It was with my the Batman figures.
Oh, the cartoony ones?
Cartoon ones, yeah.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, man. I was like, what the fuck did I lose here? However, at that point, I realized, one, I had just lost that ability to imagine without worrying about my critical thinking. I just couldn't do it anymore. I had assimilated enough information and or shame even, whatever the fuck, in my mind where I just couldn't do it anymore. However, I've always been a creative mind. I know you're a creative mind, so I can appreciate and like, at the risk of sounding like a dickbag, the art of it. You know, I like figures. I like what they represent. So that's what started feeding my collection. Then, of course, at the time, for me, I don't know if you got to experience it somewhere along the way, but that's when, like, at that moment, it just so happens that that's when figures completely changed.
Yeah.
They went from looking like just crappy toys to, like, so super realistic and shit. So that was, like, another thing that I was like, whoa, I can just enjoy this. This could be something different. You know, but anyway, I lost that ability, and collecting took on a completely different meaning, and that meaning was, for me anyway, and it is now currently, it's like curating a museum of yourself, right? Everything that you own, it can own you, and that's not a place you want to be. You know, when the stuff owns you, that's a bad motherfucking place to be, because you're not going to be happy. You're always concerned with the next thing, the thing you're missing, or you realize how empty it is to be owned by things, and you're in misery. That's not a place you want to be. The place you want to be is, am I getting stuff that I like? 1. 2, am I getting it when I'm capable of getting it? Fine. Is it destroying me to not be able to get it? Or conversely, when I get it, am I not satisfied? If the answer to that is yes, then maybe you need to step back and go and refocus, okay? So for me, what made me avoid going into that chasm was collecting is going to represent me. When people see my collection, which really is rare, I see my collection more. I mean, you see it because you're here, but my collection's for me. I get to walk around in my place and look at things that reflect the things that I love creatively. And I'm a creative mind, like you are. I think a lot of people that are collectors are creative minds. You know, it reflects me. It reflects the things I like. When I look at something, it's like I'm in a museum. You know, I look at something and it spurs memories. That's my playing now. I have all these memories attached to this thing. And maybe they're not memories of me doing things with these figures anymore. They're memories of you know, if I see that Godzilla, it brings back everything related to that thing. And I could sit there and kind of wallow in these great fucking memories and be like, damn, that's fucking cool. And this thing represents that. You know what I'm saying? And if I look at this or that or whatever, that's what it represents. So whenever I do get rid of something, it's either run its course. And that's one thing I applaud for you. You have no problem getting rid of stuff sometimes. Sometimes I do, you know. I think I've done okay, but I think that had to do with something else that we'll get to. But if something doesn't provide for me, again, I'm referring to the way I think about them, that joy of like memory and then the link to memory that it has, then maybe it's run its course and maybe it can be replaced or sold and maybe it won't be replaced. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So that's what collecting is to me. I'm curating a museum that represents me. If somebody walks in here and they're pop culture savvy, as most friends that I make would be, they can look at the things and they go, that's Ahab. Or if they don't know something, they'll maybe ask about it or investigate on their own, and they'll see why I enjoy that shit. And my collection is pretty varied, and I think that says something about me, man. You know? And again, this is mostly for me. I can look around and be like, that's cool, man. It's like watching a mirror of myself, you know? So, that's how I'm content with a collection. When I haven't been content with a collection is when I was just buying shit to buy shit. And there was a period of time, and I know you witnessed it, you even commented on it at various times, where I would just buy shit because I felt like I needed to have the whole line. And there was a point where I was collecting movie figures where I would buy multiples of figures.
Yeah.
One just to have and then just be there. And
yeah, I think that's... Thankfully, it's never something I went into.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this about... like, despite this kind of, like, weird feeling about it recently, I will say that I'm slightly coming out of it a little because of... actually, because of the multiverse line. You know, it's cool shit I like.
Yeah. And
it's cool. So it's, like, slightly more, like, fulfilling to get, you know? But yeah, like, for a while, it just kind of was, like, I'm kind of just buying stuff. Even if it's stuff I like.
I will say this, for a while, and, you know, I don't like to speak out of turn, or... I'm careful with or I try to be anyway. I'm oftentimes I'm not, but I try to be careful around how I say things that I want to be constructive criticism towards you, because I'm not saying this in a fucked up way. You have a hard time assimilating criticism, and I have a hard time saying it in a way that doesn't come off as, I don't know, asshole-ish maybe? I don't know how to fucking best put it, but I don't think I'm overtly an asshole, but I have a hard way of saying things that you'll accept as, like, constructive criticism. Like, we've had discussions where, you know, this has been a while back, but
one of us claims that Godzilla doesn't look like Godzilla.
Well, yeah,
and that leads to, like, that one. It's like a 2-hour discussion.
We've had discussions where, you know, you lost your cool because you were seeing what I was saying as attacking you critically, where in reality I was just trying to lay out something, you know, like, dude, like, try this. And, you know, everybody, myself included, has a hard time hearing constructive criticism because they see it as a personal attack. That's in general, speaking in general, you know, not just in regards to a collection or anything. I don't think I've ever said anything about your collection, but I will verify that for a while there I was like, damn, homie just kind of buying stuff that really doesn't fucking matter. And I've said it a few times, like, but I think I've said it in a tactful way, like, do you really need that, or wouldn't you rather have this, or shouldn't you wait for this? And then sometimes I've been devil's advocate and be like, dude, you need to get that. But that's because I know that you're gonna want to get that.
Yeah, sometimes you're a little bit of a bad influence on me.
Yeah.
Like, I've been trying to, like, cut down on my spending lately. And then the homie comes in with, like, the whole freaking wave of something. You're like, dude. And I'm like, damn it.
I will say that I try to be selective with that. Like, I'm pretty sure I know your taste for the most part. And I think my suggestions have been relatively fair. You know? Like, I know you want the whole Plasma Series Ghostbusters series.
I mean, that was a good deal, to be fair.
Yeah, you might as well get it. You know? And especially if you get a good deal for it. But,
yeah, I'll say that lately there's been stuff that I'm actually a little excited to get. Like the Ghostbuster stuff. Like the real Ghostbuster stuff. That was cool to find. Which is weird because, like, some of the stuff I've been a little more excited recently about is stuff that I didn't really grow up with.
Mm.
You know, I don't really have an attachment. I mean, real Ghostbusters had the Egon figure, like a million of them. But I'm not like, you know, I'm not like you or Al or, you know, other people out there who had these figures when they were kids, or, you know, watched the show when they were kids. I just like Ghostbusters, but that was like kind of cool to get. Another thing, like, I've been weirdly getting into his little muscle figs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like a thing that tickles my fancy, you know, to quote what was it, Crazy Train or whatever. Because they're small little things. I think I'm starting to kind of find my new interests. You know, I feel like a lot of what I was kind of so, like, I felt a hard time finding joy in collecting shit anymore. I feel like a lot of that was maybe changing
tastes.
Yeah, tastes and interests.
Because you were really focusing on bat stuff. I mean,
yeah,
you still are,
stuff.
but that was like the main core of your collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could also be it, because
like, I used to have a much bigger Godzilla collection, and I just kind of, you know, condensed it. You know, I got rid of most of my Halo shit. And but lately it's been kind of like, you know, like, I've been kind of looking at older figures, you know, like I started getting those Toxic Avenger, Toxic Crusaders, and the Muckman and shit like that. And another big thing that's been kind of cool is, like, shit that I can put some work into.
Yeah.
You know, like, I got these big turtle figures, and I'm slowly painting them. And
yeah, see, that's why I think you flourish, because you have, again, that knack for creativity. Yours happens to be a lot more adventurous than mine, because I fucking freak out about the condition of the stuff that I collect. You know, I'm fucking anal about it. Like, I just literally snapped the head off of something, and it's still bothering me. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I snapped the head off of it. You know, it will never cease to bother me as long as it's there.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how I am. But that's kind of like an OCD thing in me. But you have this benefit of being able to transmute something that I normally wouldn't even touch past getting it into something completely different. That's fucking cool, man. I actually admire that shit. I wish I had... This sounds stupid to anyone that doesn't collect, but I wish I had the balls to fucking alter my figures, you know? When I have altered them, it's usually been something of yours. Like I took upon... We started it, but I finished that Master
Halo,
Chief mod that you started, well, that we started, because I thought it was cool, one, and I was like, oh, this will be a cool surprise for him to see it done and all that shit. And you know, it was an opportunity for me to, one, give you a surprise, which, you know, I'm financially strapped most of the time. Downright poor, really, most of the time. I was like, this is cool, man. You'll like this. And on top of that, I'll get to stretch a fucking bone that I normally don't stretch, which is getting to alter shit. You know, it's cool. Yeah, so I admire that. I mean, that's fucking badass.
It is something that is enjoyable, but at the same time, it can be very frustrating. Because I have a very shaky hand. I don't have a steady hand. So painting shit can suck. You know, like, I'm trying to repaint those shitty knockoff turtle figures, the small ones.
Yeah.
And it's been a pain in the asshole. But I feel like if I manage to do it, it'll be like a reason to keep that, you know? And it'll be like some work that I put into that. You know, so I think that is kind of like a cool thing lately. I also, like, I mean, I haven't done much of it, but I want to start doing, like, little figs, you know? Like, I did that little Swamp Thing head. You know, like, little things like that seem to have more worth now. Because I'm putting something into it, you know? I'm not just buying a piece of plastic off the web. So, yeah, I don't know. It's also, like, I feel like the hunt is kind of a factor for me.
You don't like it, or
I enjoy a hunt.
Okay.
I like finding things, like, if there's a story behind it, you know, like, oh, we went to Walmart and there was, like, this hideous fat lady going like this.
Yeah.
And we had to fight her to get the green ghost. Hashtag green ghost. Then that's cool.
Yeah.
And there's like, oh, there's a little tale behind this. But if you just order something from Amazon, there's a little emptiness there for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's weird is, like, for the majority of my collecting life, I was like the anti-hunt guy. Not because I didn't like the hunt, but because I would just like order stuff and get it, pre-order, make sure I had
Cases.
Cases. I would order cases. I mean, you lay witness to that.
Yep.
And I got some of my coolest collectibles that way. Some which I regret selling.
That's another thing. Like, it's a lot easier to find cool shit online.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I had some of the most coveted collectibles out there. You know, the Big Trouble in Little China series that's impossible to find. I had the whole thing. You know, I sold it for peanuts compared to what it's worth. That's one I regret because I loved that series. But, you know, I had no problem with collecting that way because, again, to me, my collection was just getting something that reflected me back to me. You know what I'm saying? So I had no problem with that. However, as of recent, taking you out to get stuff, I appreciate the hunt. It's cool, man. It's cool to find something in the wild. It's cool to have a story to it. It takes on a whole different life, and it adds a different texture to what the fuck you're collecting. I will say this: you mentioned that you think you're like in a transitional phase, maybe, and I think that that might be part of whatever the fuck's going on because I can tell you from experience that I used to love horror figures and movie figures. That's almost strictly what I collected.
Yeah.
I had nary a comic book figure in sight except for my old school Toy Biz Spider-Man that I loved because it was weird and slinky. I didn't really give a shit for comic book figures. I didn't care. I love comic books. Love Batman. I've always loved comic books. But I didn't give a fuck about collecting comic book figures. I did not give a flying shit about them.
Yeah, most of the ones you had, you gave to me.
Yeah.
Like the Azrael and that Bane.
Even if I bought something and I kept it, after a while I'd be like, you can have it.
Yeah.
Because he would appreciate it more than I did. And they were cool and all that shit. I did not care. I did not want them long. They had their time with me and they moved on. I don't even regret losing any of them. It's like, whatever. But obviously, if you look around now, I mean, you can see part of it on the wall. There's like a fuck ton of comic book related shit now. My horror collection is fucking almost non-existent nowadays, barring the colossal Barker collection, and some Texas Chainsaw stuff or whatever. But it was just there was a watershed moment in my lifetime. For me, it happened to be prison, where I lost a lot of stuff and then I had to sell a lot of stuff. That was a watershed moment. Now, you talked about having this thought of just getting rid of everything. I think you're trying to instigate. Not instigate, that's the wrong word. You're trying to create a watershed moment because you're in a fucking rut. And you're trying to create this idea of like something new is going to come up. And the best way for someone like you that's very reclusive into themselves and just basically is you and your collection, the best way to light the fuse under that is I'll get rid of the one thing that I mostly focus on. And that'll for sure create a different response. There's a good thing to that. It's good that you're thinking, I want to change in my life. I'm not going to say bad, but the potentially negative side to that is, do you really want that? Or is that just you wanting some sort of change in your life? I think the answer is you want some sort of change in your life. I think you're always going to be a collector of some sort. Yeah,
Mugre.
Mugre for sure. But you're always going to be a collector of some sort. So I think, like, I was in prison and I had the idea in my head, I lost everything. I didn't know what I had kept. I know a lot of it was gone. But I just got to a point where I was like, yep, I lost everything. That's it. Dude, it was refreshing. It was like, hell yeah. When I got out, it didn't matter what I had lost or what I had kept. I was very happy to have kept the things that I kept. I was like, hell yeah, I got to keep this. This is cool, man. Some stuff that was gone, I mean, it was insanely cool and awesome stuff, but I was like, it's gone. I can't do anything about it. Fuck it. It was very liberating, man. And that was my watershed moment. Like, I had no choice but to have a watershed moment, right? And it's been liberating ever since. Every now and then I catch myself like, oh shit, am I going back there? Like recently I had a little cash fall here, and I admittedly went nuts. Mind you, that's because I was like, damn, look at all these fucking deals, man. They just hit the right moment at the right time. And admittedly, I didn't get anything that I regret getting. You know what I'm saying? But
Except for AIDS.
Except for the HIV. But I could have obviously used that money wiser. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's that. So that's it. You know, in my mind, I'm like, that's it. I can't do that again. Period. You know, I went buck wild. And it wasn't selfish, you know. I shared, as you know, with you and with mom and all that stuff. I mean, I didn't give her toys, but you know what I'm saying. I shared with mom and I shared with you, and that's another thing that makes me happy. You know, like when I get to extend something like you do it with me, and I was every time you do that with me, I'm like, dude, this is fucking dope. This dude has
there is a weird. I don't say joy, but there is kind of a weird, how would you say?
Satisfaction.
Yeah, satisfaction to like giving someone something.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know it's just toys, but like we like toys.
Yeah.
So if I give you a toy, like to me, I'm not belittling what you do. Don't take this the wrong way. I like hardly ever get money, a lot of it. So when I went out there. And I found this fucking Ghostbusters set. I was like, damn, homie, I'm gonna get this for him. He's gonna fucking love this shit. This is fucking badass. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I was like, fuck yeah, this is cool. He's gonna love this shit. You know, and that was like so incredibly satisfying because it's rare for me to have the amount at one moment. I could have it over a stretch period of time, but to have the cards line up, the deck stack up in just the right way where I could get this in one foul fucking swoop, and you know, it's something that he's gonna like. That was cool, man. That was super satisfactory, man. So, like every time you do that with me, you're very kind in that respect, and it's like, this is fucking badass, man. You know, he has no need to ever do this, and it's cool, man. It's like a two-way street. You know, everybody's like, yeah, this is badass, man. Unless you get like some bullshit.
Like
even then, it's
that
like
one time I got you Running Man VHS.
Damn, Running Man's over. But even then, like I'm like, oh yeah, well I didn't have to get it. Somebody got it. It's part of my Stephen King collection, you know. But
yeah, I have a weird goal to, if I ever give someone something or they have a collection, I want to be the weirdest thing that I give them. You know what I mean? Like in their collection. Like I gave you that freaking that Pennywise cup.
Does that mean I have to give you the head?
Nah, homie.
The weirdest.
You can keep that one.
Damn, the head. It's looking at you.
Or that Running Man tape. Those
Yeah.
weird Hellraiser tapes. You know, it's like some weird shit.
Yeah, see, I think you know I think you have the tools to know why you collect. I think you just lost your direction a little bit, and that I think that mostly has to do with just your life. You know what I'm saying? It's not great. I'm not saying that in a fucked up way. You know, you're very reclusive. You're very standoffish. You're very isolated.
I'll say this. In risk of getting a little more serious. I've been having some depression issues again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were made worse by the medication that I was taking. I haven't been taking my meds in
Better or worse?
like a month maybe, or a little more. And I'll say this, it's been a mixed bag. I've felt better in some ways, but there's been some kind of shitty feelings. Like before I was when I was taking them towards it, when it was starting to get kind of shitty, it was just this kind of base level of funk, you know, like a suck level, with major dips into hella funk.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was straight, don't funk with my heart, you know what I mean? Like straight, I would be fine with just dying tomorrow.
Right.
which is what brought these thoughts of, damn, but if I die, all this shit's a waste of money. Which, again, is not a good thought to have.
No, that's not great.
But, that's how bad it was. Whereas, recently, it's been more like this kind of weird mix of different feelings. But at least it's not just crap and mega funk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to someone recently about it, and it's... I noticed the first week, I was super frustrated at everything. Like, insanely... I was really snappy. I'm sure you noticed.
Uh-huh.
I was super snappy at everything. And I would get really frustrated really quickly. Like, with anything. That still kind of happens, like, every once in a while. Like, I was editing a video yesterday, and I had to stop and just take a break because I was getting really frustrated. But it's kind of like this. It's weirdly like, it feels good. Weirdly, to have that kind of like, at least it's
release.
something. Yeah, it's something. Whereas before it was like this kind of like difficulty to find joy in anything, and then super sadness. Now it's kind of like, well, at least I can get annoyed at this. You know what I mean? It's not great, but it's better.
Something versus nothing.
Yeah. And I feel like as the weeks have passed, it's gotten a little better, I'm not as quick to be like, damn, homie, I'm going to murk you now. So that's good. And I think with that, that kind of lost feeling with my collection has kind of like gone down a little. And especially because I've started to get like shit that like I had as a kid, or I always wanted. So it's kind of like, oh, cool, I finally have this, and I like it. Or, so it's not as bad as when we have done this video before, and I was like, damn, homie, this is mierda. Just want to burn everything to the ground.
I think there's a distinct difference between feeling kind of at odds with where you're at versus wanting to raise something to the ground. And mostly it's tied to some sort of emotion. That's obvious. But like I said, man, usually when we do something like an outburst of an emotional thing, it could be liberating, but it could also carry its own thing. There's some stuff that's good, Who knows, man? Maybe like just cutting loose of that would be good. I don't know. But then again, for a person like you that's so insular, what would be the next step? What would you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? Collecting almost seems like perfect for you because you are so to yourself,
Yeah, and I also feel that I'm not I wouldn't actually do it, I wouldn't get rid of everything. But I do think like an occasional
shift,
culling of the collection.
Yeah. You know what I would recommend?
Collection.
In fact, I kind of was going there with the horror thing, but I totally got sidetracked. Or sidetracked myself, I should say. Okay. What I was going to say was this. I'll say it this way. As you know, I used to mainly collect horror shit. That was like, what would you say percentage was? Like 95% maybe of my collection was horror or cult movie related shit.
Or gruesome stuff.
Gruesome crap, yeah. Sometimes stuff that shouldn't be owned legally. Whatever, just weird shit I liked. That was generally what was in my collection. Which, by the way, keep in mind that my collection reflects me. So what does that say about me? You know what I'm saying? Now, you know me now. I think my collection reflects me more now than ever. As it always has. At the most depressed that I was, my collection was just me hoarding stuff. At my darkest moments, it was just this weird, horror-oriented, dark shit, Not that there's a problem with horror-oriented stuff. I'm just saying it was reflective of me, you know what I'm saying? Now, what do you see? You see a lot of, like, variety in the collection. There's a lot of, like, happier colors in it There's shit that I never thought I would collect, like Funkos.
Yeah.
Like that's shit that back in the day I would have been like, fuck that, collect that garbage. Just the majority of my collection now is just female figures. What the fuck does that say about me? Am I like secretly a chick inside? I don't know. It's a very varied. It's very different. It's more open-minded. You might say, like, and I feel that's what it reflects, right? Your collection, if it's a reflection of you, let's say it is, as most collections are, I think.
I think let me narrow it down for you. I think my toys and like my figures would be, because obviously we collect other stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's what we're focusing on, which would be the largest part of anything you collect.
Yeah.
Period. But yeah, it's very focused on one thing. You know what I'm saying? So yes, you do need change. Does that mean get rid of everything? No, obviously. I think you know that.
Yeah.
But I think this is, and like you said earlier, you're kind of discovering new things that you want to collect. I think really what was the center of your collection is just no longer 100% doing it for you. It's not something you hate, obviously, but it's not the thing, So it's a thing that you could put in the background. Maybe one day it's a thing that just won't even do it for you anymore, but probably not. I don't see you one day being like, fuck this bat shit.
No.
But anyway, I think that's a thing you put in the background and occasionally add the shit that you like to, which happens to be right now. There's a little renaissance that's kind of got you interested in it again. So, it's a thing that you have and like add shit that you like to it. Boom. But then at the same time, maybe your little new reveal is, hey, look, I can curate this other part of my personality. And really what that's saying to me is there's other parts of you that you want to explore now. Whatever they may be, man.
I want to expand my Nosferatu collection.
Yeah, which is reflective of your grody, bald men lust.
This is the only vampire that I 100% love.
Damn, homie, you want him?
Well, I don't want to suck him off.
I loved him so much, I twisted his head off.
Dude, what was that?
Damn, homie.
I feel also that has to do a lot with the fact that this image of the classic silhouette images and all that shit were so like around me as a kid because of you, and it was always just in books and shit. And you gave me that figure, that Silent Screamers figure, which I had forever until my dog ate it. And recently I got a box version of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a weird love for Nosferatu figs and stuff.
You also like latched onto a lot of like weird kind of like niche, kitsch even shit. That was in stuff that I exposed you to as a kid. Or that you got exposed to as a kid, not necessarily through me, but you, instead of latching onto like the bigger thing, you would latch onto like little weird details.
Like what?
Or stuff that was adjacent to those things. You know what I'm saying? Like where did your Rat Fink thing come from? Where I think it came from you seeing all that like Rob Zombie art and shit.
It really was, yeah. I remember.
Like, that's cool.
I remember this is one of the weirdest like memories that has stuck with me. Which freaking issue? Oh, you know which one it was? It was that remix album.
Oh yeah.
It had like a drawing of like like a Rat Finky dude with like his eyes popping out and shit. And this was like one of the earliest drawings that I did. I was just kind of basically just copying off by sight.
Right.
That I was like 100% like happy with. I was like, damn, that's cool. And I showed it to you and you're like, yeah, it's pretty cool. But I was like, damn.
Like that was Norm Macdonald. Yeah. Pretty cool.
You're kind of weird in your like way of complimenting art. You're like, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I don't want to get anyone overconfident.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm hanging by my neck in the closet. No, but yeah, I guess like that just stuck with me, and all that little art from that book,
Yeah.
And then later I was like, oh, this is, I guess, was the basis for it, and I just like that art style.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the scene. I'm not a hot rod guy.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, but I like the art.
I think, and I think that's that creative thing, artistic mind again. You just happen to latch onto weird details. I don't mean weird in a bad way, but like details within the stuff that I normally wouldn't like. Like I love like rockabilly and psychobilly. You like the music too, obviously, but you latched on to little things that from that are part of the aesthetic. Sure, that's part of the reason I like that stuff, but you latched on to those things more possibly than the music, like, you know, the style, you know, there's just, you just like, again, adjacent imagery to it versus the actual thing. You like the thing, but you also, I think you like more adjacent things.
I think that makes sense, and that is a weird way to explain.
This is a good way, like your Nosferatu thing. You like Nosferatu, you like the movie, but I think you like the imagery more than you like the product.
Yeah, it just so happened that with Nosferatu, it's a very visual film. So it just ends up working that way, you know? But yeah, it's something that, like, with him, it's something that's so it was so striking as a kid, you know? That it just, like, damn, that's my thing. That's my jam. Even if the movie... You know, it's a little slow at times, and he's just kind of carrying a coffin for 90% of the movie.
Totally walking.
It's still so, like, it's stuck with me. I'm like, damn, dude. The movie could suck massive ass, and I would still love Nosferatu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, yeah, I guess is exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, I think that's where your mind, that's how your mind works. You latch on to, and in fact, that's kind of like, you know, we talk about the movies we watch in our other channel. And they're not really reviews; they're just us talking about a movie we watched. And that's something that I've noticed in the pattern about you talking about movies. Whereas I tend to like dissect the movie and cull meaning from whatever, try to decipher what the guy's mind was saying at the time, or whatever the fuck, you know. Even when it's something stupid like bats, I'll sit there and go, I wonder if they intended this or if it just sucks, you know. I like to do that with movies, no matter how stupid or how intensely complex they are. Whereas you tend to gravitate more towards like impressionistic elements, you know. A good example is Baskin, which we recently watched and will sometime be up on our movie channel. You latched on more to specific elements, visual concepts, rather than this, I mean, admittedly complex, convoluted even story, but you know, that's more what you latched onto. But you do that a lot with a lot of movies, you know, and that's just your mindset, you know.
Oh, right. So going back to collections, I find it also kind of I'm in a weird spot with my movie collections.
All right.
Because I'm not a huge movite. I mean, I am a huge movite.
Right.
But I'm not a huge watching movies alone-ite.
Right.
So, realistically, the only thing that I'm buying things just to buy is movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, out of all the movies I've probably, the ones that I've seen more than once, more than like 2 or 3 times, I can count in one hand. You know what I mean? So that, I think, is the most... Oh, no, that's not the most.
Frivolous?
That's one of the frivolous ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most frivolous, and the one that will never change in its frivolaciousness, frivolous nature, I should have said, not frivolaciousness, is books. Like, I'm not a reader. Like I said before, I'm illiterate. Hardcore. Well, it's only half true, by the way. But I'm not a freaking hardcore reader.
Right.
Yet I have all these stanky books.
Yeah.
I'm just buying them because it has Dean Ray Kuntz's head on it. Granted, Dean Ray with the mustache, so it's worth it. Yeah.
Is a reason to buy it. Yeah.
Or like I get it because it's got the Stephen King name on it. You know what I mean? Pointless. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel that's pretty pointless. I mean, you've only read like 1 book, 2 books, 3 books. What, like a handful maybe?
Yeah, more than 3.
I mean, that's not a confident number.
Well, I can't.
Like let's say a handful.
I'll say like around less than 10. Probably.
All right. So yeah, obviously that's a frivolous expenditure.
Yeah.
So why is it even a thing?
I don't know. Why do I buy books?
Is it the aesthetic nature of a book?
Not even because I have them hidden.
So yeah, that's a thing definitely that you're buying for no fucking reason.
So why the flip am I buying books? I feel that there's a weird comforting, which is not good. It's a weird comforting, a thought that I have. Oh damn, I have that freaking Stephen King book right there. You know, I could read it if I wanted to.
Yeah, that's a bad place to be.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know, like my previous movie collection was wildly large, and a lot of titles eventually got to be like, I have it. So if I want to ever see that movie, I could see it. Never did, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? I got to that point, and that was stupid. Because at that point, I was just spending money for the sake of spending money, which is not something you want to be at. I feel I've curbed that with the occasional, like, I'm going to take a risk on that thing. But even then, the risk is, like, most of the time calculated, like, oh, it's $1, so it's worth the risk. Yeah. Or conversely, I've done some research, and I'm like, I think this is the one I want to risk. Or, in the case of The Last Witch Hunter, I was like, I know I'm going to like this. And somehow I did. So sometimes it's just a miracle. But the point is, yeah, if you have no fucking use for the thing, then at that point, you're buying a sense of security rather than something sensible. And the sense of security solely comes from what you just said. Yeah. I have it there in case whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which is not a... And that could take root in a lot of collections. Like, I'll give you an example. These right here, I made a conscious decision not to get these. One, because I don't play video games. So I was like, I'm not going to get these. You know? So I didn't pre-order them. I pre-ordered the ones that I wanted, which was the White Knight ones. The Batman White Knight ones. By the way, guys, White Knight, that's what you name your series?
Well, I feel like it's actually kind of fitting with the story.
Well, I know, but like, it's not the greatest name at the moment. But the point is,
that's one of the big things that I kind of didn't dig about the book is that it's very unsubtle with its message. Yeah, and there's this whole thing of him being a literal white knight. You know what I mean? Like as an internet white knight.
Yeah.
And it's super not subtle. But it never reaches the point of being like satirically unsubtle. You know what I mean? It's just not subtle.
Well, I mean, I would argue that satire is at its most satirical when it's super on the nose. But then again, that's also a question of taste or whatever. Yeah. I can't judge because I haven't read the fucking thing.
It's not a bad book, but I wish there was a little more like stuff behind it. You know, it really feels very surface level.
This doesn't matter. This is getting off topic. The point is, I made a conscious decision not to get these, right? Because I don't play video games. 1, 2, I was like, I'm just gonna collect the stuff. 1, that I can get. 2, that I actively want to have in my collection, and that will include the White Knight Batman figures because they looked cool. And if the series is good or not, doesn't matter. The look was like, oh, that's cool. All right. However, when I saw these, I was like, damn, those are actually super duper cool. So then I made a decision when they were available, and I just happened to have money, like, okay, I can get them, and they are actually super cool, even though I don't play the games. I'll get them. Because of that reason. So I made a decision and I changed it only because they became something that I did want in my collection. Versus feeling the need to just have it, or feeling the need to have it because it is a thing that you can say I have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you're on that line with the Green Arrow one. Like, a part of you is telling you need to get it to finish the run, but the other part is like, I don't have no attachment to this.
Yeah, I mildly want it for that, but I really don't. It's more that I fear that once I watch Arrow,
you're going to regret it.
I'm going to be like, damn it, should have gotten it.
Yeah, but and the thing is, I mean, that shit happens. I mean, the logical decision here is, don't get it because you have no attachment to it. Visually, it didn't interest you enough to get it just on that alone.
No.
You know, I have no emotional attachment to it. I played the game. I love the game. But I don't play video games that much. I don't have a machine. I don't have access to the internet. So I didn't have no emotional attachment beyond me playing the game all those years ago when it came out. You know? But once I saw them, I was like, these are cool for the bat stuff that I'm getting. You know? And I want them in the collection. And I happen to have the means to get them. Boom, got them. That's it. Again, using the same example with you with Green Arrow, the logic is I have no attachment to this. It didn't interest me visually enough to get it. Then it should just be like it's out of my mind. And if one day down the line you see the series and it's like, man, well then fuck it. You didn't get it. Big deal. I'm sure there'll be a Green Arrow figure down the line somewhere along the way. Or in the world of resellers, potentially it could be something you get. No big loss, But again, this is an example. But you can apply that across the board. Like the book thing, you're not going to read the book. There's no point in you getting the book. You're not even getting a financial benefit from having the book.
Yeah, I kind of want to get rid of my books.
Yeah, then why have the books? You know what I'm saying? They're out of there. Nowadays you can sell stuff like that. So,
true. Yeah, I don't want to throw them either.
Yeah, that would be bad too.
There's some that I want to keep. Like, I do want to keep my Clive books, though I don't have many because he's one of the few people I've read.
Yeah, see, like that, I think maybe the collector part of you says, I like Clive Barker's work. I see a collectible factor in owning the book, even though I may never read it.
Yeah.
Like I love Clive Barker.
I think that's more fitting with King,
Yeah, the King would be a good example. Okay, yeah.
Because at least with Clive, I've actually read some of his books.
True, yeah. Well, like for me, look, like I love Clive. Obviously, I've read books, most of them anyway. But I'll buy if I see a copy of it, I'll buy it, even though I have it. I'll buy another copy of it if it's in good condition, if it's a hardcover, especially if it has a different cover. Why? Because I might have already read the book, or maybe it's a book that I'll never read down the line. But I know that potential actually exists for me to read it. One, but that's beside the point. In your case, it would be more like I like Clive Barker, and I see a collectible thing that would satisfy me as a collector. Like, this is cool. It's part of my Clive Barker
like the
display.
tapes I have.
Yeah. You're not gonna listen to tapes, but you like, say, like Dio, and you have a Dio tape. Now it's part of your Dio collection, and it's there. It's cool. It's a memento of something that happened in that artist that you love's career.
Yeah.
And now it can also represent something in your collection. That's fine. But buying something like literally a book you're never gonna read. Yeah, I mean, come on, it's pointless, Movies, I mean, you like movies. We watch movies. You only watch movies with me, basically.
Yeah.
With the occasional, off element. I mean, if you're not going to watch them, then why get them? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like, at least with movies, I don't feel as, pointless as the book thing. Because at least with movies, I see movies,
Yeah.
So I'll buy one that I really like. Like, I bought, example, freaking Godzilla. I mean, obviously I was going to get Godzilla.
Right.
But...
The DC movies, you like those?
Yeah. But let's say we watched Get Out and I ended up getting it because I liked it.
Right.
That at least I've confirmed that I enjoy it and I have the ability to watch it. At least that makes sense.
Right.
But then I be getting freaking Ender's Game and shit.
Ender's Game.
Gavin Hood directed.
Guns, girls, and what?
Yeah, I never even watched that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I will, but yeah.
There's some in your collection where it makes sense, like I
have multiple copies of Evil Dead.
Yeah, that's a thematic thing.
Yeah, like Evil Dead.
Yeah. Like I got you the Phantasm movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd given me your Phantasm set. You like Phantasm.
I'm probably gonna watch those.
You're probably gonna watch those, yeah. So that's fine, But yeah, like other stuff that you're never gonna.
And I will say with movies, I'm pretty quick to cull, which is why when we did our Shameful DVDs, my selection wasn't as ludicrous as you'd think it would be, because I'm pretty quick to just sell the ones I don't like at a pawn for a loss.
But think of all the money you would have saved not getting the ones that obviously you're not gonna, like Ender's Game. You're not gonna ever see that potential unless I'm like, dude,
Let's watch Ender's Game. Kevin Hood directed it.
I promise you I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
So, the only way you're going to watch that is if you're like, hey, dude, let's watch Ender's Game. I'll be like, all right, I guess. Other than that, I don't see you singing it on your own. That would be weird.
Yeah, it would totally be
walking on you watching Ender's Game.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's in there.
Ending your game. But, yeah, I mean, then why buy that? That's $1 you could have saved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could have gone in a vanilla wafer.
Definitely could have gotten a vanilla wafer.
According to you.
So the long and short of it is, man, a collection should not be a burden. A collection should be something that is there for a reason. The reason might be minimal. It might be confusing to other people, but there's people that get it. Like that chick got it. You know what I'm saying? She got it because some people. Collectors understand collectors.
Yeah, it's weird because there's no real rules, to what will bring you some sort of happiness. Like, I have 10 billion copies of Green Eggs and Ham, and every time I find one in the wild, I'm like, I'm getting this shit, and I'm totally do not regret it ever.
Yeah, it's weird,
Yeah.
People collect weird shit for weird reasons, and it's their personal shit. It's what makes Here's some weird things I like to collect. I mean, it might not be weird, but some people might come in and be like, why do you have this? I don't get it. If I find a copy of Frankenstein, I want it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I want Dracula, I want it. I have a stupid copy of Dracula. I have such a stupid copy of Dracula, but I won't throw it away because it's a Dracula copy that I don't have, Frankenstein's my favorite novel ever. If I, like your Green Eggs and Ham thing, if I see a copy somewhere and I can afford it, and it's cool. It's not some shitty copy. Yeah. Obviously, the inside's always the same, so I could just read that at any point, unless it's one of the revised versions or whatever, or previous revised version, whatever. But, I'll buy it. I have various copies of Frankenstein, and why? Because I love that novel, and I love reading it, and I also like the aesthetic of owning several copies of it. Like, I want the annotated Frankenstein from edited by Leslie S. Klinger. I want that. Not just because it looks great, because Guillermo del Toro wrote a fucking intro to it, because it's annotated, but because it's this massive tome of my favorite fucking book. It's cool, man. Plain and simple, right? Audrey Hepburn became a fucking thing.
Yeah, what is it?
She's my favorite actress of the old day, or I shouldn't say favorite actress, but she's like an icon. You know what I'm saying? That transcends just the fact that she was an actress. She's an iconic
like
image.
An Elvis.
Yeah, she's like my Marilyn Monroe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if I see something, which surprisingly I've come across,
what is it?
Yeah, like a weird assortment of Audrey Hepburn things. And I can afford it. I'll get it. I was like, this is cool, man. This is cool to me. You know what I'm saying? Why? I don't know. When I had this guy over, he was like, what's with the Audrey Hepburn thing? And he was like, well, I don't get it. And I'm like, I mean, she's cool, man. I mean, you don't have to get it. But, the Harley thing, that came out of nowhere, right? Supposedly.
I feel like I gotta, go through my books and just...
Trim
it, yeah.
The Conqueror?
That could even be a freaking video.
The culling?
The culling, yeah. Book culling. The book culling.
Should get...
Macaulay Culkin.
Bring all the books and then pick which ones you're going to keep and which ones you're not. Boom. The video. The lamest content ever, but there you go.
No, I mean, that might be interesting, actually, yeah. Because it would serve as a little, collection vid. And,
so, look. You have primarily, a Batman DC collection.
Mm-hmm.
You have a few Marvel things, namely the Hulk stuff.
Yeah, Hulk. I got a little Hulk.
You're a Hulk guy. You got a little Toy Story collection. You got a little assorted movie / horror collection.
Yeah, the miscellaneous stuff.
You got a little video game figure collection, and you got tons of little itty bitty weird stuff, knick-knack collection. That's like a handful of varied themes that you got already. That's cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you could branch out from that, or you could tone it down, or whatever the fuck. The point is, don't add to something. If
just
it's not,
add,
just to add, or because it doesn't, if it's something you don't need, why the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'll use the Harley collection again. I'm just bringing that back up. You know, Harley, to a lot of people, is a significant comic book character for a variety of reasons. You know, a lot of people like to be dismissive too, especially now that the Margot Robbie thing. You know, Margot Robbie is an attractive woman. I think everybody agrees, apparently, except for me, that they would bang Margot Robbie. But the point is, you know, I think a lot of like elitist, snobby fans and stuff believe that was the cheapening of a character, and that she's just like this thought now. You know. No, I mean, they popularized the character in a massive format that reached more people than ever. But Harley was already popular. Harley was so popular that nobody had a problem with Harley being just a character in a movie. You know, it was a thing that was accepted, you know. Maybe she's not Batman level popular, but people generally knew who Harley was, even though they never cracked the comic or saw the fucking animated series beyond maybe an episode or whatever. But she's a character that to a certain group of people was one of the few new original characters that actually stuck and became popular and had a history and didn't just die on the vine, you know. And she was popular from the beginning and remains popular. I mean, like Deadpool, he made a minor splash, but really you can't ever say Deadpool is as popular.
This Deadpool is not the Deadpool back then.
Yeah, the original Deadpool was on no level like the current Deadpool, or even the Deadpool that came as the years passed. But the most popular Deadpool has ever been is the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool. You can't say that about Harley. Harley's been consistently popular in geek fandom, outside of geek fandom, just as an icon that people just put like a Betty Boop type thing. Like people just like the aesthetic, whatever. She's been a persistent and lasting icon. To me, as a comic book fan, she was a character that, one, was new and completely different to a world that I loved. Batman was like the comic book that made me love superhero comics, you know? And we're in a world where I preferred other type of comics. Batman was the comic that was like, dude, superheroes are cool. You know, as he is to many people. But they introduced this character that by all intents and purposes should have flopped. You know, like this ditzy, kind of weird, sometimes annoying, kind of brash, weird, just strange, out of left field character. Damaged on top of that, you know, into this mythology, and it just something just stuck about her, you know, and she's persisted, and she's evolved, and she's grown, and whatever. So to a certain generation, Harley's big. How big? Fucking Kevin Smith named his kid after her, you know, all that shit, you know. And yeah, there's a particular portion of people that sexualize Harley. That's a thing too. I mean, obviously, but I don't think that's the predominant thing, you know. But anyway, there was a point in time when female figures suck balls, and they just look horrible. You know, I've always had a leaning towards female protagonists, but man, collecting those things, it just didn't look good. It looked horrid, you know. But then there came some sort of renaissance not too long ago where all of a sudden people were making good female-looking figures, and it looked like actual people, not like weird monsters. And you know, the opportunity rose where I was like, oh shit. Certain things aligned in my life where I could like invest in Harley things. And I was like, I'm gonna start a Harley collection. Why? Because this character was important to me. I liked the character. She's evolved over the years, and I've liked the majority of iterations. So, you know, and of course, just iconically, visually, all that stuff, she's a striking fucking figure. So on top of that, all that, I'm gonna start this Harley collection. And it just kind of ramped up out of nowhere. I got many opportunities along the way. Boom, 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 boom. Next you know, it's big as shit, you know? But I've never bought a Harley figure that I didn't like. I never bought a Harley-related thing that I didn't like. I've yet to buy something. I've considered things and then been like, nah, that's not good. What the fuck? No, I don't want that. You know? I've never gone down that route. And the moment I do, then I've reached a problem point and it's time to fucking stop. Or just completely rein it back. because then it's become an obsession. You know what I'm saying? The more I start buying shit for no fucking reason, oh look, this has Harley doing this instead of this. I need that. Come on, man. Oh look, this fucking pencil has Harley in it. I gotta get no. You know what I'm saying?
I bought some bad pencils.
Well, yeah, but
I didn't regret them.
Yeah, you actually like that, but what the fuck? You bought me a Harley pen.
Yeah.
In a bid, I'm gonna assume to derail my Harlection.
No, it was actually again in my weird obsession to buy the weirdest, or in this case, lamest,
inconvenient
piece in someone's collection. I had done it with that shitty cup of it, and now you got the Harley pen.
Damn, you did. But anyway, yeah. I've yet to buy something that I don't want, and there's so much Harley merchandise now that it's crazy. Which again, by the way, just cements how relevant she is to fans, as well as the general populace now. But anyway, whatever. The point is, there's so much stuff that I literally could not feasibly ever finish collecting Harley if I wanted to get everything, but I don't. I don't have a desire to get everything. There are things that I do. There's things that I've wanted, and I've even had the opportunity to get, but I just don't. I'm like, there's probably gonna be something better. I could do without it. Fuck it. You know? It is how it is. I couldn't do without this, mind you. Because this is just a thing I had to get.
I feel like you could have done without this.
Dude, like, you know.
It's horror.
You know I was wanting this one. But anyway.
It keeps staring at me.
With its vacant eyes.
Yes.
But, you know, I haven't gotten to that point. So, and I don't want to get to that point. You know. I bought these Catwoman figures.
Catwoman?
Coincidentally, what got me searching for them was like,
female?
You're like, you hate Catwoman or some shit. You said something.
I need a freaking Catwoman, dude. I don't have any.
And I was like, I mean, I have some Catwoman stuff, and I do like Catwoman. In fact, you know, she's cool, man. Who doesn't like Catwoman, right?
Really hate her.
So that got me searching on that, and I just happened to fall in love with this figure. Figure, this
I feel like
Play Arts figure.
I feel like this was like when you pointed out that I only had dingalings in my collection, and I try to overcompensate and just buy chicks.
Well, no, that's
like, boop, howdy.
Damn, you did overcompensate. But no, but your comment made me go, you know what? Yeah, it would be cool to have some more Catwoman stuff. I have a couple of things, but not enough. And I just didn't find anything that was cool. There was this Cover Girls of DC statue, but it's super expensive, and I'm pretty sure it's hard to get now. So, I don't have the money, can't get it. It's out of mine. But I saw this, and I was like, damn, I could get that. I'm gonna get that. And it just so happened to line up, and I got it. And there you go. And I'm satisfied. I kind of don't want any more Catwoman stuff.
Damn,
unless I could get that DC Cover Girls fucking statue.
Proof that you hate.
But you know what I mean? Like, there has to be limitations.
There's certain things that I would very much want, but I cannot justify paying that much for.
Example?
A good example would be the Mezco freaking Ascending Knight. Oh, it was a whole trilogy of Batman figures they had. I just remember the name for the Ascending Knight one. But it was basically like the young Bat, the middle Bat, and the old Bat. Mm-hmm. Super cool, especially the old Bat. Just straight up looks like a Dark Knight Returns, only more stylized.
Right.
Would love those.
How much was
They're
the set?
Like $70 each, which is how much they cost usually.
Right.
I feel like that's too much for a 6-inch figure.
I mean, that's like you're making good money figure.
Yeah,
shit, you know what I'm saying?
Like these are figures that I would love to have, but I feel that if I were to get them, I'd be like, damn, homie.
Yeah.
Like it would bug me. Like I want this freaking Mezco Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Is way too much.
But
way
even
too much.
for a high-end figure, that's way too much. 100 something odd. Like, come on, homie. Like, I bought statues that are expensive, but I didn't buy them all in one. The only statue that I've paid, like, straight up, just like the whole thing. That's expensive. I mean, there's statues that I bought that were cheap, but or on sale or whatever. Those don't count. I'm talking that cost money. Was the katana statue. I went and I paid for it, and they ordered it, and they brought it in. And that's because I was like, damn, I want that statue. And it'd been out for a while, and I happened to call, and they said, yeah, we can get it. And I was like, this thing's gonna, it might not be available, so I gotta make sure and get it. And I I went and hustled a little, and I got the money, and I paid it, and that's the only time I paid. Other than that, I spread the payments, man. I just spread it, and that's not a justification for wasting money that I technically don't have, that I have to like kind of scratch out of corners and shit. But it's a way for me to get that, and not be like, damn, homie, I just fucking sold my soul for a jelly roll. Now I will say that I have bought that way a Mezco figure, which I haven't gotten yet, by the way. It's a Harley figure. It's a Playing for Keeps exclusive. But I paid, literally, when they first announced it, is when I paid it. With Mezco, it takes them forever to release it. As far as I know, they still haven't released it. So I paid for that shit over the course of almost a year now.
Like, I would really want the freaking Dark Side. Have you seen the Dark Side?
Yeah, it's cool,
super
man.
Super cool.
But in one fell swoop, I don't see myself ever.
Nah. Especially because, like, those bigger ones are a lot more. Like, Dark Side, I think, is 200 or something.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Like, I really love Mezco. I think we were Mezcites before it was cool, dude.
Yeah, we were buying
back
Mezco
when they were
shit
doing,
back in the day,
like,
man.
the weird, super stylized stuff back in the day. Of course, now they're changing the game when it comes to 6-inch figures, but also raping people's wallets.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's good. It looks good. It's not like NECA's cloth figures that sometimes look gammy.
Mm-hmm.
Though even they're getting better. That Candyman was pretty good.
Gammy Man, they called him.
Those pants, though.
My friend got it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then she lives around a bunch of, like, extreme liberals. Not normal liberals, like extremist liberals. She's like, damn, are they going to get mad that I own a figure of a black guy?
Damn, homie.
I was like, they better not. It's Candyman, man.
It's Tony.
Anyway.
Anyways, a video.
It's been a video that we did. So, that's a thing, right? It's just a thing, man. You have to learn to control it. You have to learn what it is. You have to learn to find joy in things again. And I think the psychological aspect to it all is linked more to your life rather than to a distinct part of it. I think a wise person once said, if you ask a question, you already know the answer, and that's true the majority of the time. Sometimes we pose a question, but really it's us trying to find somebody that's going to make an excuse for us to continue living the way we're living, which is usually not good, Now, I'm not saying you asked a question to continue collecting. No, I'm saying I think there's a deeper thing behind that. I think you know what that is. I think we all know. Obviously, your psychological age was run under. It's a river that runs under ooze. New York, like ooze, and the aspects of your life that are triggering these things, making them worse, exacerbating them, and the only way to get out of that funk is to take some action in those different facets that are getting in your way, man. Could one of those facets be the collecting thing? Yeah, and I think we address what the problem is. The problem is you're maybe depending you're leaning your happiness, or I'm sorry, you're pinning your happiness on getting stuff instead of collecting stuff that's reflective of you. So that's no way. Stuff is not gonna make you happy, man. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna make you happy is presenting something that's like, this is. I want people to see this. I want people to come in and admire my thing, but I also want to admire it primarily, like that chick told you. Primarily, I want it to be. Like I collect books. I've read a portion of them, not all of them obviously, but I've read a large portion of them. I could get rid of the book. A lot of people do that, they get rid of the book and sell it. But I like to keep them. One, because I like to reread sometimes, but second, I can sit here and glance at them, and again, those memories, bam, bam, bam. It's me, man. It's for me. It's for me. It's my thing. I think it's not a selfish thing at all, man. I mean, I know she very beneficially used the word selfish, but that's a thing for oneself. That's for one soul to go. Yeah, that was a great experience. Like you said, I think it's pretty cool that you attach experiences to some stuff. Like, yeah, man. Like, and really, you telling me that's super cool for me too, because I'm like, damn, I was with him when I went and we found that figure.
Yeah, like this, I just felt a genuine jolt of holy shit.
Yeah, you were like,
because I was looking for it. You know, you were like, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, and
then you broke yours.
Damn, dude, I twisted his head off, man. Shit.
This homie was trying to loosen the head because it was kind of tight. And I'd look away for 1 second, and I turn back, and he's going...
Dude, I thought that the joint had turned, man. Just beheaded the mofo. Man, that sucks balls, dude. Then the motherfucker didn't even stand.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is, that's cool, man. You know, like attaching that type of thing to it is pretty cool. Like, yeah, like I like, you know, when you have cash, and not because you have cash, but that was not a good way to start, right?
Give me the cash.
I like it because I know I think you'll understand what I mean by this. I know for sure that's a time that we're gonna hang out. You know,
go out and do something.
Yeah, I was like, cool, man.
Yeah, I do think
I get to go out. There's gonna be no weird, like he's not gonna be in the mood or something. We're gonna go out. We're gonna look for stuff. It's gonna be a fun time.
I think lately I've been kind of more like, I don't know if it's had to do with that, kind of like that was in that way of thinking. But I kind of like getting money. Again, this sounds weird. Kind of like getting money because it means like we can go out and eat something. You know,
yeah,
there's like a little experience.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean not necessarily because I'm gonna go buy something, but we have the ability to go out and get a little bite. You know, just freaking talk and shit.
Yeah, it's like and I wish it was. This is why I said it might sound weird, but because, as aforementioned, you're like a very shut in, like reclusive, hermetic figure,
yeah.
And I don't mean Hermes. I mean like a hermit crab specifically.
Yeah,
you know, you shut yourself off, and then sometimes you just like draw a line in the sand. And it's like, all right, well, I don't know how to behave to pierce that wall. You know what I'm saying? So I know that when you do get something, I'm like, he's gonna want to go somewhere. It's 100% guaranteed that oh cool, we're gonna get to hang out. I don't have to worry about like, am I gonna be stepping on his toes? Is he gonna be like weird? Am I gonna be in there and kind of like, should I ask, or you know, sometimes I'm standing there like, I don't know what I'm reading here. I'm trying to gauge like what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, is this like, should I ask something or not? Sometimes it takes me like minutes to decipher it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm reading from this. So I'm just gonna go. You know, it's weird, man. You know, you know, I'm not trying not to step on toes too much, but also try to be like. Also try to not kill the attempt to reach out or something. You know, it's difficult. But anyway, the point is, that's like a for sure thing. Like, hell yeah. Almost like Saturdays is like, yeah, we get to talk and watch movie or shoot a video or whatever the fuck, you know? It's like an almost guarantee, like, hell yeah. Or the closest to a guarantee. So, yeah, man, you know, that's cool to me, you know? It's an experience. I get to attach a memory to something, which is something I don't really get to do anymore, which sucks donkeys because, you know, I love movies, but to watch them by myself sucks. Sometimes I like to watch them by myself, you know, but sometimes I'm like, I wish I could watch it with someone, you know? And then I'm like,
unless they start talking.
Even then, I've been like a little lenient. Like, mom's like, sometimes she talks too much during movie, but it's mom's, and you know, you're kind of like, yeah, fuck it, you know? And sometimes she's hilarious in her reactions to stuff, which that alone has provided much entertainment, must invest in extremely tense movies.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And or Mouse Hunt, apparently.
Dude, Mouse Hunt.
But you know, it's a thing, dude. It's an experience. Life should be an experience with people as much as possible. You know.
As a wise man once said, "Life's a game. You learn as you go." Sometimes.
Damn. Rick Trevino's not wise. He did that fucking.
That wasn't Rick Trevino, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Damn.
Something.
Sometimes you fall on. Don't worry about.
Isn't that Rick Trevino?
No, it's not Rick Trevino.
Shriek? No, I know it's not Shriek.
Isn't it those homies that oh no, that's not them. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Either way, it sucks.
Yeah.
The point is, anyway, so this is a podcast, right?
I had another question, but maybe we could save it for another
All right.
video.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then, anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully this podcast, I don't know when it's going to come out, before or after.
I feel like we should put this one up.
Pre-planned. The point is, I've mentioned a podcast to certain people.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
coming. We were just trying to... There's also this looming cloud with a recent friend that you know...
Yeah.
He lost his father.
Yeah, a little worried.
You know, we don't want to... One of the podcasts that's more serious has to do with death, the passing of a loved one. So we don't want to, you know, just in case he checks back in, we don't want to offend him or seem like we're like, you know, trying to one-up death or whatever, you know, whatever the fuck. But yeah, those podcasts are coming. The worst days of our lives, yours having to do with a death, which really, in all honesty, is something we shared, and mine having to do with, of course, the often asked prison question, which, oddly enough, was also something that, in a way, we shared. Maybe not behind bars in your case, but you know, there was definitely repercussions. But and then we plan to do another one, which is gonna be the stuff that because it was all like off the cuff, you know, spur of the moment. What is it? A flow of consciousness, remembering stuff that happened years ago, all that stuff. So sometimes I would mention things and say I'd get back to them, and I didn't. Yeah. Or I might have skipped. I'm gonna re-listen to the podcast, and I feel that something needs elaborating. I'll make a note of it, and we'll do an addendum podcast to that, a podcast of its own, where I clarify things that I feel need clarifying, or explain things that I might have said. I'm gonna talk about it but never did, or whatever, you know. And that'll be that for those. But in the meantime, here's this. I think we even recorded another podcast. That may come out first. But anyway, they are coming. Those.
For those wondering, it was actually John Michael Montgomery. Life's a Dance.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, John. Anyway,
no one cared.
Just super no one. Yeah. It definitely wasn't Rick, though.
No, I didn't want
Or Shriek.
Shriek.
Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Check out our YouTube channel, $10 Slammer, if you haven't checked that out. Or if you're here from there, then thanks for listening. We're out.